Go first. I'll go first. Spawning at the bottom left position here on Cloud Kingdom, we do have the player in green colors, Medulin, the Zerg from Czech Republic.
And in our top right position, we have EstMan, the Protoss, doing the standard Forge Fast Expand, possibly even placing his pylon too far forward. Maybe an interesting way to wall off. I've never seen this, but it's going to be very, very good match to see between him and his opponent, EstMan, the still yellow Protoss. Silver.
Yellow. It's yellow. You have your shades on. It's those glasses. It's those damn glasses. You don't see colors, right? How can you even drive with these?
I don't have a driving license, BelleNOiR. I don't drive either way.
Oh, that is right. Alright, so EstMan just continuing to chrono boost out his probes, and Medulin opening up with a pool first, which is also totally standard. And at about 240, he should have enough money to build a hatchery if he's doing the build correctly. So it's going to be a little bit delayed, even more so, since we do have this pesky probe here, but one drone immediately going over to the third, while the natural is being contested.
So Medulin won't be delayed too much here by the fact that he can claim the third very quickly at the same time. And EstMan's Thras here has delayed it by a little bit more than he would have liked, but everything's still going to flow quite nicely for the Zerg player. Yep. Although given the fact that he hasn't started to relocate his Overlord, or even rallied his new one to the third base, there's the potential for cannon shenanigans to go down there.
There is a potential for that, true, but especially since he's building the Queen first and then continuing moving on into the Zergling production. But for Zerglings will certainly, for certain, chase this probe away. There they go, and this probe does not have long to live. I really like this, only keeping one Zergling on the probe and chasing it, and using the rest of the Zerglings. Look at this, checking the infamous pylon cannon spot at the third. Meanwhile, we do have the gateway coming up for EstMan, as well as the double gas, so everything is lining up just nicely. Expansions for both of these players will be finishing very shortly.
Indeed. So, at the moment, this is just going to head in towards that more passive stage of the game, where each player is getting what they want. The Zerg player will get their gas at around 36 to 40 supply, and we're going to have to see how well EstMan is at getting a probe out of his base, given the fact that Medulin has the Overlord above, has the Zergling outside. It's going to be very hard for EstMan to get his proxy pylon down, and there we see EstMan just trying to sneak out. Medulin saw that with the Overlord because he had it selected, I believe. And there, the Zergling just gives chase instantly. Complete map control there, very quickly picking up on that probe. And which is probably more just a sacrifice to see a third base.
Two Zerglings now following the probe, chasing it. Of course, the probe would like to get some scout in, but those queens are going to deny that. There we go, the probe will go down. Bam, there she goes. So let's see if this was, and yes, we do have a robotics facility going down, so there is still a potential for a Immortal Sentry all-in. Chrono boosts going down both on the probes and the gateway. But as a single zealot has been constructed, which allows EstMan to put a little bit of pressure, take a little bit of that map control back, and we do see double gas going up immediately. So yes, this is most certainly not going to be a very fast third at around 6-minute mark that we used to see from some of the Protosses. This will be either a later third or a complete all-in off two bases, as we are used to seeing from the Protoss these days.
Indeed, and I believe this will be a best of one, if I'm correct?
No, best of three. Everything is best of three, yeah.
Excellent, just what I was hoping for. So at the moment, EstMan has a little bit of map control back, so we might be able to sneak a probe out if his opponent isn't completely aware. And that's the main thing that he really needs to focus on now, is getting a probe out of his base for the proxy pylon, unless he is going for, obviously, the Warp Prism play.
Yeah, one thing I would like to point out is that Medulin does not have all that many drones out. He must have missed some injects or gotten supply blocks along the way. If he did, then maybe I missed that, because he's only at 38 drones and he's getting an Evo chamber and a lair at a standard timing. But at this point, at 8 minutes, he should have been a little bit more up in the food supply. This observer very nicely spots the Zerglings moving across the map. You know, you want to have way more drones than 40 at this time, because frankly the Protoss is heavily missed Guardian Shield there, heavily overprobing the Zerg. You don't see that very often. Zod goes down at the watchtower. So Medulin taking back that map control, trying to keep EstMan in the dark as much as possible for the time being, and also wary of attack producing roaches.
Absolutely. With the production of roaches slowing down his drone count even more, this is just going to start to really pile against himself. With this third hatchery, you need the drones to make it worthwhile. Without the drones to make it worthwhile, you might as well just stay on 2 bases and properly saturate your natural. The natural currently has 5 drones on the minerals, and the third base has less than full saturation. Those two could be combined into 1 base. With a macro hatchery in the main, it would make him significantly safer. He wouldn't have to defend a third base location.
An interesting, yeah, and an interesting thing is happening right here. EstMan is adding on a Twilight Council, so it seems to me that he will be wanting to take that third base. He sends 1 Lonely Zod to clear out the Zerglings, not wanting to show the rest of his army, which is a really smart move. But look at Medulin and his army size. He's staying at 46 drones. He doesn't seem to be wanting to make any more, and he's just... Oh, right now a new round of drones will pop out, but that is only after his army supply reached the 55 food count. He will try to go ahead and deny the space, and he will be successful, I fear.
I don't believe so. With force fields there, he will be able to force field his opponent away, and these roaches will be no match for the current army unless he gets into a really good position. And EstMan has built himself into a bit of a choke here, so the deny might come down. Oh, but the force fields are very good for pushing his opponent back, giving him time to get into a decent position.
Yes, they were very, very, very good, but the dodge that Medulin performed on those force fields was even more brilliant, because EstMan basically expended 200 energy there and only got a single roach because of that. Now he gets a little bit more. But the first dodge was absolutely brilliant, and Medulin should really start to pull back here, because with 3 immortals there and still a ton of force field energy, or some force field energy to be used, there is nothing that he can do there anymore. But here's the thing: Infestation Pit finished just about 30 seconds ago. Pathogen glands are already on the way, and once infestors enter the fray, this is going to be a whole different game.
One of the issues for Medulin at the moment, though, is he's on 9 less workers than his opponent. EstMan needs to make only about 10 more, and he's perfectly saturated on 3 bases, whilst his opponent is significantly low on the drone count. He went very heavily into his army early on, which is not something he can do without taking a lot of rewards. And he essentially lost so many roaches for nothing that he's gained nothing from the early roach count. So that's going to definitely drag him down. Yeah. He's going to have to use his army very effectively from now on. He's going to have to power on his drones and hope to defend against his opponent using primarily these infestors that he's got. And he's only having the 1 at the moment, 4 more coming out. And that won't be enough to deal with a Colossus-focused army, which is what EstMan will
Yes, pretty much he will want to trade that supply he has in roaches for something. Either for an expansion or for critical army units. He will be looking to make that trade, because roaches, as good of a unit they may seem to be, they are very weak versus force fields and get very hard countered by immortal play. But they also cost a lot of supply, and as a Zerg you want to have as many units as possible, so actually switching over to Ling Infestor is way more beneficial for you, because you can just overrun the defenses or just pick your opponent, pull him apart every which way, and gain an edge that way. Zerg is taking his 4th base, we see now, as an Overlord gets sniped.
Already the mothership is on the way for EstMan. The Colossus production has started. And EstMan's very comfortable right now. He doesn't need to add on his Templar tech just yet because his opponent is nowhere even near Hive. He's not started. And with the Observer right above his base, he knows that. So EstMan can patiently wait. When he sees his opponent gets the Hive, he'll get his Templar tech, save up some gas, and he'll be ready for Broodlords long before they even come out. So EstMan is in a very comfortable position right now. He's ahead of supply, and with the Hive just going down, as soon as he takes notice, he should throw down his Templar Archives.
Yeah,
he
should.
The Templar Archives goes down.
Medulin is, I mean, EstMan is not checking the Observer. Now he checks it, he sees that the Hive is in production. So will he actually try to push as he tries to establish his 4th base? Or will he just drag this on into a late game scenario? I would very heavily advise against that. Sure, you can win, but it is always a gamble because the game becomes sort of like binary at that stage, where either you land a Gosu Vortex and win, or you don't and get overrun. Either fast or slowly.
At the moment, EstMan has had complete control over this game ever since that Roach engagement. He's had the capacity to tech, he's getting him Archons now, and no matter how an engagement goes for him right now, he's vastly in the lead. His opponent only has Lings, Roaches, and some Infestors. These Infestors will not be able to stop this army with 2 Colossus. Those are going to cut through them. The Archon's very strong as well, and he's maxed. He's ready to push. His opponent still doesn't have the Greater Spire even started.
Yeah, the Spire is just now finishing. I imagine that he will morph that into Greater Spire as soon as it finishes. There we go. There goes the morph. But really, most of his supply in his army, if we look at the unit counting station, he's got 19 Roaches times 2. That's a lot of supply. If those were Lings or Infestors, that would have been a whole different story. But those are just Roaches and they will be absolutely useless. But oh my god, look at the number of Spinecrawlers. That may just be Medulin's saving grace if he has very good fungals and positioning. And looks like EstMan is ready to move out. The mothership has just about now reached the 100 energy count. So it can land 1 Vortex. And do we have any Corruptors out on the field? Yes, 10.
Yes, we do. We have 10 Corruptors, and the Overseers are only just morphing in now, so they might arrive at the battle just in time to counteract the fact that this army is essentially a lot of DTs right now. This engagement will come in, and it's actually just ripping through most of the Spinecrawlers now. There's very little Medulin can do, and even the Archon Vortex on the Corruptors is going to be enough to take them down if he can keep those 2 Archons alive, and he's not been able to do that so far. He's not pulling them back against the Spinecrawlers. He's lost one, lost the shields on another, and this is actually going well for EstMan despite these small things that could be improved.
Yeah, but there was a very nice fungal landed on the ramp. Another fungal goes down, but all the Infestors get vortexed into the black hole as the mothership goes down. That was a very nice Corruptor dive performed by Medulin, but once he gets these Colossus, if he gets them all, he might actually have a chance. That depends on how many units were in the vortex, and there was a ton of them. The Infestors still have a lot of energy. The High Templars are coming in to feedback some of them. A lot of infested Terrans going down, and I feel like EstMan's army just might die very fast here.
EstMan does have reinforcements coming in, and once these infested Terrans run out, well, just look at the bank of the players. Medulin won't have the capacity to have as many Broodlords as he'd want to be an intimidating threat, whilst EstMan can start reproducing his army very quickly. He can get out a lot of Archons, he can get out a lot of Zealots.
Yes, but the question
is...
Right
now, those are the only units he really needs.
Yes, but the question is... I mean, there are still Infestors out on the field. Look how much energy they have. When backed by Broodlords, you need a whole different composition to deal with this army, and just warping in Stalkers, no matter the upgrades, probably at some point is not going to cut it. You just need that AoE to get rid of the Zerglings. The fungal is going to keep you in place, which, you know, denies all your micro. Nice use of changelings there. Medulin, oh, but EstMan right on top of it, but at least Medulin got a glimpse of what the army looks like, and maybe he will try to, yes, that's a smart move, just try to deny mining, kill some of those probies instead of going for the kill.
Absolutely, and even Oh, putting down the deny on the new mothership coming out was a very good move from him. And that's something he's going to want to keep doing, denying this mothership coming out. It has 24 seconds, and as long as he can keep the delay on that just consistently going, he's going to be in a strong position. But again, the countdown on the mothership has begun, 9 seconds, and it will actually come out with the chrono boost on it.
There we go, there goes the mothership, but you know what? Tank more corruptors just about popping, so he will have the capacity to get rid of that. And oh, moving up the ramp, those fungals could be huge here. Is Medulin looking?
Oh, so many.
Oh,
Jesus!
jeez!
The infestors go down. That was very strong from
that was.
EstMan. He's even supply blocked his opponent because of all the overseers in that army, just going down instantly.
I think
there's no overseers at the moment.
I think that was just Medulin not looking. That was just him not looking, I think, because the army was just on move command, and that changes the whole situation for EstMan right here. Right now he can push, because all he's going to be facing is a ton of Broodlords, which he can blink underneath, and Lings and Roaches. So I think he's gonna deal with this army pretty well, and pretty in a reasonably fast fashion.
Absolutely. There is no energy for the Vortex at the moment. It will be arriving shortly. But it's the cloak that's so strong right now. Overseer's only just arriving at the fight, and you'll see the amount of units his opponent has. A full 60 supply ahead of him. And he will start to doubt if he'll be able to deal with this. The Vortex is ready, and the Broodlord's not very clumped, but it would still be a critical shot. And here it moves in.
Oh,
over
yeah.
half the army. Very, very good. But with only one Archon, it's not going to be as useful, but he can still get under the units, and that's all he needs to do.
And there goes the blink in, and last of the Broodlords fall, and there's the smiley and a game. Maybe was trying to type good game, but mistyped, because guess what? He got nervous.